In business news this evening, the International Monetary Fund says that the Sri Lankan economy is likely to show strong growth this year. Now, according to a statement issued by the IMF, following the conclusion of the IMF staff mission to Sri Lanka, the organisation noted that it has assessed the central bank's recent rate cut as appropriate, with bank lending only slowly beginning to rebound and economic growth still below potential.
It has been revealed that the IMF sees little sign of emerging demand-driven inflationary pressures. It was also noted that average inflation for the year as a whole is expected to remain in the single digits. The IMF statement adds that significantly near and medium-term macroeconomic challenges will need to be addressed if Sri Lanka is to take full advantage of the current favourable environment.
It's the usual situation in that, this is the review mission. We will go back, consult with management, and if management decides favorably, then we would schedule a board meeting, and at the time of the board meeting, the disbursement would be made.
What's the position of the review mission?
We feel like things are quite good, and I think we're in a good position to make the recommendation to management.
Well, time now for a short commercial break.
But coming up on the news tonight.
Today's toss was very important, and definitely I think whoever captains wins the toss, they will be batting. And same way, Dhoni elected to bat, and they were in trouble because the Sri Lankan fast bowlers bowled brilliant, exceptionally well.
An ex-policeman armed with an M16 rifle seized a tourist bus in the Philippine capital, Manila.
The Philippine police have stormed a hijacked bus in Manila, ending a day-long siege in which a group of Chinese tourists was taken hostage. TV images showed at least 4 hostages leaving the bus, and local hospitals said at least 4 were dead. The fate of 7 other hostages is still not clear. A former policeman armed with an M16 had seized the bus in an apparent attempt to get his job back. Officials said police marksmen shot and killed the gunman. The police made their final move on the bus after a body was seen hanging from the front door of the vehicle, reportedly the body of the gunman. TV stations in the Philippines carried live broadcasts of the hostage drama, and the footage showed hostages crawling out of the vehicle by the back door.
Three independent MPs who may hold the balance of power following Saturday's inconclusive election in Australia say they will negotiate as a bloc.
It will take a period of time, but people should be assured that stable and effective government is occurring in the meantime.
Trading was down as financial markets opened amid the political limbo. The Australian dollar and government bonds both fell in value, while the Australian lost almost 1% against the US dollar in early trading before recovering somewhat. Australia has not elected a hung parliament since 1940. However, the latest figures from Australian public broadcast ABC gave Labor 72 seats and the coalition 69 seats. The Greens secured 1 seat and the Independents won 3. 5 seats have not yet been called. Today, both Prime Minister Julia Gillard and the opposition leader Tony Abbott flew into Canberra to start working to try to secure a majority. Both have opened talks with the independents. Attention is focused on 3 independent MPs, Bob Catter, Tony Windsor and Rob Oakeshott, who represent rural and regional constituencies. Another independent, Andrew Wilkie, looks on course to win the Tasmanian seat of Denison, while Adam Banks secured 1 seat for the Greens. The election came 2 months after Gillard ousted Kevin Rudd in a controversial leadership challenge. Correspondents say Abbott has tried to exploit the Labour Party's divisions after the departure of Rudd, trying to portray the opposition coalition as a stable answer to a government beset by infighting.
It's almost inconceivable that any Labor government emerging from this election could deliver competent and stable government. It's certain that any Labor government emerging from yesterday will be chronically divided and dysfunctional.
Australia looks set to have a hung parliament for the first time in 70 years after voters dealt Labor a crippling blow with large swings to the opposition coalition in New South Wales and Queensland. With some votes still to be counted, both the ruling Labour Party and the opposition Conservative coalition appear to have fallen short of the 76 seats needed for a majority. Incidentally, the three independent MPs who may hold the balance of power, Bob Katter, Tony Windsor and Rob Oakeshott, had said today that they will face the negotiations as one group. But support for Australia's first female Prime Minister has fallen rapidly in the 2 months she has been in office. Ashan Das in Melbourne for News First.
Gillard, a former lawyer who called a snap election shortly after coming to office, was hoping to be rewarded for the government's handling of the economy, which weathered the global recession remarkably well. However, support for Australia's first female Prime Minister has fallen into 2 months she has been in office.
Waters from the Solan River Yamuna flooded the Yamunanagar area of India's northern Haryana state. Normal life was crippled as people waded or drove through the knee-deep water amid fears that the rising water may damage standing crops. This growing volume of the river has sent warning signals to villagers along the banks of the river and also to national capital New Delhi. 33 Chilean miners trapped deep underground sent a message to the surface tied to a drill saying they were all alive in the first contact since a cave-in 17 days ago, but experts say that it would take months to dig them out. President Sebastian Pinera said the paper message was tied to a perforation drill that rescuers used to bore through to the area near the underground shelter where the miners took shelter after the August 5th collapse at the small gold and copper mine in the far north. More than 5,000 people have been evacuated from the North Korean border city with China after flooding from a rain-swollen river that also caused more than 50,000 people removed from affected areas in China this week. Torrential rains hit China's Dandong area, which borders North Korea after Yalu River broke its banks. A wildfire that broke out on Greece's Evia Island appears to be dying down. Fires near Atos village on the southern part of the island no longer threaten houses. More than 100 firefighters and 34 vehicles were involved in the overnight effort.
Time now for the very latest from the sporting world.
And Arundhati Fernando is here with the latest.
A very good evening to you and welcome to Sports First. On Sports News tonight, it's cricket. Yesterday, the Sri Lankans defeated the Indians by 8 wickets to show their dominance in the Tri-Series One-Day International Cricket Tournament. We now take an in-depth look at the match.
Yesterday's toss was very important and definitely I think whoever captains wins the toss, they'll be batting. And same way, Dhoni elected to bat and they were in trouble because the Sri Lankan fast bowlers bowled brilliant, exceptionally well. Tisarapirra bowled very well and other bowlers supported him very well to get the wickets for 103 runs. India got all out. Basically on that, Kumar Sangakkara handled the fast bowlers very well and every change he made, I think he got the wickets. When we take on India's batting was only one thing they will be happy because Yuvraj Singh came into the form. He got about 36 runs, but he batted well. I think for the next game against New Zealand, Yuvraj's batting is very important and it's a vital game for them.
No surprises there. Over the moon, big.
And also when we come to Sri Lanka's batting, Sri Lanka made a change of open with Mahela Jayawardene. That's a very good option because first match we saw Pul Taranga getting out in the first ball of Praveen Kumar, and I think the experience what Mahela Jayawardene had, I think that was the change, and Mahela Jayawardene opened the innings very well and it was an easy win for Sri Lanka.
Timing from Sangakkara will take that to the boundary.
In more cricket news, Pakistan A team started their tour of Sri Lanka on a winning note with a convincing 69-run victory over the Sri Lanka Cricket Academy in a practice match played at the SSC yesterday. Let's take a look.
Winning the toss, Pakistan A team got off to a poor start, losing 3 early wickets, but opener Khurram Manzoor held the innings together with a patient 47 runs. Some good hitting from the lower order, especially from the bat of Shahryar Ghani, who top scored with 67 runs, helped Pakistan A post a decent total of 215 for the loss of 9 wickets in their allotted 50 overs. I. Udana and M. Pushpakumara picked up 2 wickets each with the hosts. In reply, the Sri Lanka Cricket Academy never got into second gear as they lost wickets at regular intervals and were bowled out for a mere 146 runs. T. N. Sampath top scored with a gritty 35 runs and Gihan De Silva made a quick fire of 34. For Pakistan A team, Yashir Shah bowled a brilliant spell and captured 5 wickets, while opening bowler Mohammad Talha too was impressive, picking up 4 wickets and jolting the Sri Lanka Cricket Academy top order.
Well, thank you, Arundhati, for that sports update. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News. But do log on to our websites www.newsfirst.lk and www.ethalet.com. I'm Arundhati Mudannaika.
And I'm Shane Silva. Good night.